Hey, let me ask you, have you ever had a bunch of cardboard boxes lying around and think, man, I wish I could use this to play video games. Bam! Nintendo Labo, ladies and gentlemen. Now you can take a crap ton of cardboard, bend it a bunch, and boom, you got yourself a bona fide new controller. Beautiful. But in all the excitement, let's just take a step back for a moment. Let's look beyond the cardboard. And if you do, you might just get a small glimpse at a long-lost, canceled game, Project Giant Robot. So gather around the campfire, everyone. I'm going to tell you a little story called The Disappearance of Project Giant Robot. First off, let's travel back in time to E3 2014. That year, Nintendo decided to pull out all the stops. Amiibos were unveiled for the first time, Hyrule Warriors was shown off, and so was this intense footage of Legend of Zelda for Wii U. Not to mention Splatoon was revealed for the first time as well. And overall, this was an incredible time for Nintendo fans. But behind the scenes, special members of the press were shown off some other games. 3 in fact. Star Fox, Project Guard, and Project Giant Robot. All of which were the brainchild of Miyamoto himself. One observant player noticed something though. Something specific about these 3 games. They all seem to be related to Star Fox. That player noticed that the cameras in Project Guard had Star Fox logos on them. And when he asked Miyamoto about it, he didn't exactly say that they were in the same universe, but basically nowadays we know that for sure because Project Guard became Star Fox Guard and was released alongside Star Fox Zero. But Project Giant Robot didn't get released alongside Star Fox Zero. In fact, it never released. What happened to that game? And actually, what even was it? Well, I'm glad you asked, internet viewer, because I've got the answer right here for you. Project Giant Robot was a Wii U title where you controlled a giant robot in a huge sumo wrestling match with another giant robot. The gamepad was the main focus of this game. You could use it to control your robot's torso with the gyroscope, but also use the screen to view through its eyes instead of just getting the huge view from the helicopter on the TV. The shoulder buttons were used to control the robot's forward and backward movement, and the analog sticks controlled each of the arms separately. Convoluted? Maybe, but still many of those who got to play actually had a good time, kind of like how in Octodad controlling him is a huge pain, but it creates hilarious situations. It was the same way in Project Giant Robot. Basically the whole point of the game was to knock down the opponent, but that was going to be a challenge because not only do you have to deal with complex controls, but you're also going to have to keep your balance, which is incredibly difficult with such a touchy physics engine. In order to give the demo a little bit of flair, you could also customize your own robot before the game, and each of the opponents would be randomized slightly between the demo's 4 stages. So now that we know what the game is, what happened to it? Why didn't it release? Well, first things first, Project Guard and Project Giant Robot weren't exactly planned to be released from the beginning. They were shown off as Miyamoto's experiments, not upcoming games. But of course, that didn't stop fans from believing that they would eventually get to those shelves. After all, a while later, Project Guard got its release. Why couldn't Project Giant Robot? That hope for release was fueled by Nintendo's financial reports, which listed the game as an upcoming release. But some bad news. In 2016, 2 years after the game was shown, Miyamoto was interviewed by Time magazine, where he was asked about Project Giant Robot. He said, and I quote, "It was something we started as a second project, and unfortunately, we haven't yet decided to turn that into a full game." Bad news, huh? Well, at least he didn't say it was canceled though, right? In fact, months later, it was still being listed as an upcoming game, so that must mean they're still working on it, right? Right? Well, that was the hope. But then, one fateful day, Project Giant Robot was just gone. No warning, no press release, nothing. In early 2017, Nintendo just stopped listing it as an upcoming game. And when members of the press reached out to Nintendo for any kind of statement, they just said this: "We made this decision after considering our overall product and development strategy." That's it. And just like that, the dream was dead. Or was it? We've got Nintendo Labo now. Could this cardboard masterpiece be from the remains of Project Giant Robot? Can I finally control a giant robot and destroy a city in a video game? Something that's totally never been done before at all, ever, for sure? Yes, now you can. So strap on those cardboard boxes, ladies and gentlemen. It's time we go destroy the homes and livelihoods of thousands of people for our amusement. Ow.
You didn't break anything?
No.